This is an iHeart podcast. Guaranteed human.
Brought to you by the Spam brand. I'm about to drop some sizzling hot knowledge, everybody. Did you know there's a blue can loved around the world with festivals dedicated to it? That's right, it's Spam Classic. The cultural icon went from fueling the world in the 1930s to earning its own museum. And today there are 12 mouth-watering varieties like teriyaki and Korean barbecue flavored, plus the original Spam Classic, ready to fry up in your favorite dish. Fans everywhere, keep sizzling it up, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Spam brand, sizzle pork, and Learn more at spam.com.
Hey, and welcome to The Short Stuff. I'm Josh, and there's Chuck, and here's Jerry. And if you faint at the sight of blood or even discussions about it, you should probably stop listening now.
That's right, because it is a thing. It doesn't bother me. I don't love the sight of blood, but I'm not too easily grossed out. I can watch a surgery on TV, and I'm fine.
I like writhing naked in blood. That's how much I love blood.
Oh, good Lord.
Covering my entire gigantic body in blood.
Oh.
So anyway, because I can do that, I clearly don't have, Chuck, a particular phobia about fainting at the sight of blood. And that's really what the whole thing is coming down to, as we'll see. But fainting itself, and this particular kind of fainting, and this is the thing, like people actually do this. It's not like some movie or TV trope.
Right. Although it is that as well.
Yes. But when you faint at the sight of blood, there's a specific physiological faint that's going on. There's different kinds of fainting, and this one in particular is what's called a vasovagal syncope. And vaso refers to your blood vessels. Vagal refers to the vagus nerve, which played a huge starring role in our episode on what happens in the brain during an orgasm.
That's right.
The reason the vagus nerve gets a shout out in this name for this type of fainting is because it plays a role in controlling the speed and rhythm of your heart. And then syncope is just another word for fainting, for loss of consciousness.
That's right. We know some things and don't know other things. We know that it is a legit phobia. It's about 3 to 15% of people have this, where they faint at the sight of blood. And we also know that it's not just the sight of blood. It can be an injury that you witness, even like I think you pointed out here, like someone slamming their hand in a car, or it can be needle-centric, like if someone's coming at you to give you a shot, you can pass out. So the technical name for the phobia is BII, blood injury injection phobia.
Right. And it is a phobia because there's no real danger or anything to truly be feared from a hypodermic needle or something like that. Even though there is plenty of danger from it, it's still considered an irrational fear. You know what I'm saying?
Sure. You're not in a horror movie and they're not going to put it in your eyeball.
So, right. And so with phobias, BII is actually a peculiar type because with vasovagal syncope, you're fainting because your heart has slowed down enough that your blood pressure drops, which robs your brain of the very important blood it needs to function correctly, and you lose consciousness until your heart, regains a normal rhythm again, which it does on its own. And that means that BII is its own kind of phobia, because with most phobias, that's not how this goes down at all.
No. With most phobias, you're going to have a spike in your heart rate initially, and then that'll probably lead to like a fight or flight type of thing. It'll really ramp everything up. And with BII, you do have that initial very brief spike in your heart rate, but then it just goes, boo, and everything slows down and you hit the bricks, basically.
Yeah. So that makes it very strange. As far as they know, there's no other phobia that produces this effect, except for the blood injury injection phobia. But after digging a little deeper into this kind of odd malady, frankly, they found that not only is there a fear component like in other phobias, there's also a disgust component, and that people who have blood injury injection phobia are experiencing levels of disgust that are even higher than their levels of fear. So it's just a really strange phobia all around, and it does seem to be its own type.
Yeah, and it does. It's not funny, but it does make for funny moments in movies and TV shows when Someone comes running into a room and sees something awful, and they go, "Oh my God!" And that's the initial spike. And then, because it does kind of follow it scientifically, and then they just go, "Oh," and hit the deck. And it is a trope for a reason, but it is interesting in that, like, scientifically, that's kind of exactly what happens.
Right. So you want to take a break and then come back and talk more about BII phobias?
Ooh la la, do I?
This is Danielle Fishel,
Ryder Strong,
and Will Friedle from Pod Meets World. You know what I didn't expect? Becoming best friends with Chewy's customer service.
Oh, been there. I've chatted with them as late as midnight. They actually get pet people.
And if Pickles or Lucky hate something, I just send it back. 100% satisfaction guarantee gives you a whole year to make a return. No questions asked.
Meanwhile, I'm over here ordering everything for Bill and Brunch. Food, treats, beds, toys. Because Chewy has over 100,000 products to choose from.
And it shows up in like a day. I mean, my dog Sammy thinks the delivery driver is her personal assistant, and I'm not sure she's wrong.
It's not just for dogs and cats either. They've got stuff for birds, fish, reptiles. The list goes on and on.
And the health side is huge for me, too. Prescriptions, pet insurance, telehealth vet visits.
They're even opening vet clinics now.
My cat pretends he doesn't care, but he benefits.
Chewy just makes the whole pet parent thing easier. For life with pets, the answer is Chewy. Save $20 on your first order with free shipping at chewpanions.chewy.com/world.
Joy is essential, and it's also elusive. You can't order it, you can't borrow it, or simply hope it into life. But now, there's a new and exciting way to start your journey toward a more joyful existence. Joy 101. It's a new podcast hosted by me, Hoda Kotb. Together, guys, we'll have meaningful conversations with the world's most fascinating people. Entertainment legends, sports icons, wellness experts, and everyday people will share how they find, allow, and experience joy. And I'll offer some of my own tips and takes on seeking a more balanced and harmonious life. If you're craving inspiration, support, and useful tools to maximize your joy, tune into these candid, uplifting, and moving on-air chats. Joy after a breakup, joy as an empty nester, joy after a loss, joy as a caretaker. This new podcast will speak to you. Listen to Joy 101 on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Okay, so one explanation for blood injury injection phobias is that it's a gene. It comes from some gene or mutation that's passed down. We don't know very much about it, but if you consider that that it is conferred genetically, that suggests that there's like an evolutionary aspect to this, that somehow it made sense through natural selection. But it seems like the opposite of what would make sense through natural selection. Like if you're approached with danger or injury or something like that, or you see someone else being injured, you would think you'd probably be in danger too.
Yeah.
And so running away really fast, fighting back, like you would think those would increase your odds of spreading your genes rather than fainting dead away. But there's actually a theory that says like, no, it kind of makes sense if you look at it this way.
Yeah, and it's a theory, but the theory goes that, like, let's say you're in a battle with Tuk Tuk in the gang, and Tuk Tuk gets clubbed on the head, and blood squirts out everywhere, and you go, oh, and you pass out and hit the rocks. Mm-hmm. Then the other invading, I don't even know what era we are with Tuk Tuk anymore. What would they be?
Tuk Tuk existed about 10,000 years before Utsi, so I'm going to say he existed about 18,000 years ago, prior to the advent of agriculture.
All right, but what were they called? Those weren't Neanderthals, were they?
No, they were modern humans.
Okay.
They just hadn't given themselves a name as far as we know yet.
All right, so the other modern humans, the invading modern humans, they run up at Tuk Tuk and Tuk Tuk's friend, who is now passed out on the ground, and they just think he's dead, and they walk right by him, like it's the old play dead during battle thing.
Right, which is Okay, that makes
coward's
kind of
way.
sense if you stop and think of it. Yeah. The other thing is if it was Tuk himself who'd been injured and fainted at the sight of his own blood,
Sure.
because of that drop in blood pressure, he would be less likely to bleed out from that wound or would bleed out more slowly, which could in fact also save his life too. So
Not a bad theory.
no, it also kind of is, depending, but it's one of the few we've got because we just don't understand it. Like we understand the physiological component about what happens with vasovagal syncope. It's how the sight of blood or somebody shutting their hand in a car door or a hypodermic needle triggers that. That's where we kind of lose our grasp on that. And one of the reasons why what would you say, like 3 to 15% of the population has it? That's a really wide estimate too. Yeah, 15% is definitely significant, but 3 to 15%, that's a big gap between, those two numbers, and it's a big gap in our understanding. And one of the reasons why we understand it so little is because by its very nature, that condition prevents people from going to the places where they could be treated and have their conditions documented and have estimates be a lot more accurate, which are like doctors' offices and clinics and things like that.
Right.
They avoid those places like the plague because those are the places where people get stuck with needles and have blood drawn and go when they have a huge gash in their forehead. Like, they don't want to go anywhere near those places.
Yeah, because you go into that room and they say, well, let's see what's going on with you. Let me draw some blood after I slam my hand in this drawer looking for the needle. And it's coming at you from all directions. So you're not going to go in there. You might even, it can be tied to something called medical procedure anxiety, which sort of speaks for itself.
Yeah.
So you're not going into any hospital, so it's really hard to get great information about this. But our old friend, cognitive behavioral therapy can help you out, according to WebMD. And there's a Swedish psychologist named Lars Göran Öst, who apparently is the best in the business. And it is, like with a lot of CBT, it's self-exposure. But what you do is, and this sort of makes sense, what they do is they tell you to, whenever you think of anything like this, and I think they start out by even saying, like, just think of driving to a blood donation center and put that in your brain. And you really want to tense up your muscles all at once, everything in your body, because that'll just get your heart rate going higher than it normally would be to get it elevated. And that's a way to combat. And then they just make it worse from there until they are basically playing doctor dress up and coming at with the needle.
Yeah, so they teach you how to stave off fainting as step one, right? And then after that, when they're exposing you, it goes from making you imagine you're going to get blood drawn to actually showing you videos of people getting blood drawn to, like you said, your therapist coming in like he's a phlebotomist with a syringe and a tourniquet and actually putting the tourniquet on your arm.
Yeah.
And the whole time you're just tensing your core so hard, trying to keep from passing out. And it sounds awful. And exposure therapy is awful when you step back and look at it, but it actually does work. And what they say is that possibly in as few as like 3 to 5 sessions of learning applied tension and then doing exposure therapy, you might actually be able to look at blood and not faint, which is really something.
Pretty good. I think if I was the therapist, I would dress up like Nurse Ratched. I would go full bore. And then, the person after would say, like, why are you wearing that wig? Why are you dressed like that?
Yeah.
And say, I don't know. I think it increases the anxiety is what I've found.
I would dress up like the main character at the end of Promising Young Woman.
Oh.
That's what I'd come at you like.
Wowie, wow.
Yeah, scary pink wig rubber nurse.
Yeah. That's, I'm trying to picture you like that. That's pretty frightening.
Stop that. I don't give you permission to picture me like that.
Well, there's a million people picturing that right now.
So one other thing, Chuck, the reason why, aside from like it's dangerous to just faint dead away, like that you can hit your head, you can break an arm, all sorts of bad things can happen to you. But one other reason why it's important to get treatment if you do have a blood injury injection phobia is because, like you said, there's that medical procedure anxiety that keeps you from going into the doctor's office. And that means that you're not going in for like vaccines or cancer screenings or, wellness checkups because you're avoiding the doctor's office. So there's a lot of actual negative effects that it can have on your life. So if you do have that, maybe go check into getting treated, because apparently they've got it figured out and you can not faint at the sight of blood or a needle anymore.
That's right.
You got anything else?
I have nothing else, sir.
Well, then that's it for Short Stuff, and Short Stuff is out.
Stuff You Should Know is a production of iHeartRadio. For more podcasts from iHeartRadio, visit the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to your favorite shows.